Evening, Paul. Given some of the challenges Montreal has provided for your group, what does it mean to post a shutout against them in what was a pretty tidy effort after the first several minutes?
Yeah, I think the best part of the game was for us that we improved from our first game in here. That we had given up a fair amount off the rush, and we were much better at it. And I also we got stronger with it as the game went on. But the areas that we thought we needed to improve from game one, we did.
We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Paul, you talked earlier or at times throughout the season about generating offense the right way. Is that game the perfect example of your team generating offense the right way?
Yeah, I think we didn't do it from behind. We didn't do it on one-off plays. I mean, they had some turnovers, obviously, that they would like back. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that we weren't trying to create it. We just kind of took what was there. I thought we had some pretty good chances that didn't go in for us as well. But the minds were right. I didn't think we forced plays offensively that caused us, which is part of the rush chances that we gave up last game. We seemed to be forcing some plays that we didn't need to. We just played a pretty, I thought we played a pretty hard and pretty smart game here tonight.
Go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Paul, it was like deja vu the first and the second period. You start the Lowry line, they go out, really strong shift, draw a penalty in the first, and then they do it again in the second. I know that doesn't show on the score sheet, but just to start periods the right way with that line like that, does it set the tone, I guess, for the rest of the period?
Right on, with a style of game that we're trying to get to a little bit more, which is closer to a playoff style of game. They get out, they get on the body a little bit, not running around, smart, simple plays, and it just gets your bench feeling good right from the start. The style of play for all our lines is going to be slightly different, but there's a theme to what we're trying to do, and those guys have it dialed in. Matty Perreault's been really good on that line on the left side, and added a little creativity, I think, to that group in the right way, in the right spots on the ice. So they've been good. They've been a good place for us to lead.
We'll go next to Scott Billick from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Paul. Connor Hellebuyck kind of does it again, shakes off a goal in the last game, comes back, posts a shutout. I mean, we've asked you to kind of say nice things about him quite a bit over the last few years, but what do you say about his 20th win again tonight?
We made some saves. Earlier in the game, I think they had more action than later in the game. And then he just looks like solid, right? To the point that you get to a point in the game when he looks that way, you think I don't think they're going to beat him. I mean, we're going to have to make a pretty egregious mistake here for him, because he's just squared everything. And you see some experience, right? Just the years now that he's played in the NHL, he's picked the times to play the puck, picked the times not to, moved it well when he needed to. His rebound control was really, really good tonight, right? And then he's just, he's world class. So when he gets into that, and then the bench starts getting excited for him, because we know and appreciate what he does for us. You get into that third period, nobody wants to be the guy that costs Ellie a shutout. He means so much to us. So they're all, we're still blocking shots in the third period, and that's a direct affection that the players have for their goalie and everything he does for them.
We'll go next to Carter Brooks from Game On. Go ahead, Carter.
Hi, Coach. Just moments ago, Connor Hellebuyck told us that he felt that the result of the challenge was appropriate. However, if the play had occurred outside of the crease, or if the play that had occurred outside the crease, inside the crease, it probably wouldn't have been the same result. What were your initial thoughts on the challenge? And then again, what was the reaction given to you, or the explanation therefore?
So I didn't think that it was my interpretation, because of where Matty Perreault skated, and the goaltender hadn't established original position and got skated through. I wasn't particularly concerned about the outcome of that until it took as long as it did, right? So I'm feeling pretty good in the first 35, 40 seconds of that. And then as it gets longer and longer, you start to wonder, are they interpreting this differently than you do? So had it been inside the paint for sure, but once something gets outside the paint, even if a goalie's, he's got forward position with his hands, he doesn't have the right to that ice any more than a player does.
And final question to Ken Weaver from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Well, we've talked a lot about the evolution of Andrew Kopp, but what's it meant to see him become one of your top power play producers as well this year?
Boy, that unit might have drawn even 5-on-4 with the first unit. There'll be a substantial argument tomorrow and the next day about which unit is in fact the first unit. It's a really good example. When those guys got together, they want to make it work, and they like working together. So when Blake went down, I think their biggest fear is that unit would get changed. We pull Nikolai Ehlers off, or we pull Andrew Kopp off, because they are talking about it all the time on the bench, and they're excited to go out there, and they get to go out almost with slightly less pressure than the first unit has. They've been good, right? And they, it's a real good spot for Andrew. He's such a smart player. He finds a way to just position himself in just the right spot. So I'm happy for a guy that we asked to do a really heavy defensive job that has some offense, that he gets a chance, a place in the lineup where he can show what he can do offensively.